So we're in Fresno, California. We just finished installing a new water main from a point of connection out here in the lawn. Homeowners dug this up. We had been out here previously and potholed a bunch of different locations, and we could only find iron pipe. And the reason being, as you can see here, they've got every bit of a 10-foot piece. This is the old pipe that came out. So you can see that's just corroded pipe. It weeps through, and you can see what happens to it down here. That pipe, as it degrades, it begins to just weep. Sometimes it doesn't really spray. It just starts bleeding through the pipe, and as it does that, it begins to rust, and the soil around it kind of rusts and builds a cocoon. So you can see how it's built up all the way back. So that was iron pipe. You could see there was a repair at some point in the life of the line. They put probably there was a hole there, so they just put one of those repair couplings on there, and that served its purpose. But one of the things that they had going on was the shutoff valve wouldn't shut off. That's a multi-turn gate valve, and that wasn't shutting down. And then, of course, you can see this is the drop. That goes up to the building. This drops down into the soil. 90-degree turn. There's a T there for the sprinklers, and so you can see that as well. It's just all corroded. So there's probably 10 foot, 11, 12, 13, 14 feet of pipe that has been replaced. Now, so you got PVC. That's where they found it. We had potholed. I think last time we were here, we had potholed about in this location. So we were almost there. But this all needed to get dug out. So to save some labor, they opted to go ahead and dig it out themselves and contacted us. We came out and put the piping in. So schedule 40 PVC pipe, 1.25 inch. Got a couple of 90s right here to offset, and then full 10-foot piece of pipe over to here. Coupling right down there, schedule 40. So you can see schedule 40 coupling. And then we wanted to get the sprinklers tied back in. So as you can see here, you got a little 1.25 inch T with 1.25 inch by 1 bushing in there, and then of course 1 inch pipe, 1 inch 90, and then another 1 inch pipe, 1 inch coupling tied back into existing sprinklers. So that's their valve, and we didn't want to mess with all this because it's old brittle pipe. Once you start moving around, it tends to want to crack, and then you get all kinds of problems. So it does have a shutoff valve, which is great. We're tied back in there. Past that, what we've got, our point of connection, is schedule 80 PVC. So it's the gray pipe. We like that when it's going down in the soil because it's thicker, it's more durable. So little piece of pipe, a 90. And then of course we had some schedule 80 pipe on the truck, so we cut it to length, a little coupling on there. This is a schedule 80 nipple, so it was threaded both ends, about 12 inches long. And what we like to do is go ahead and thread one end into a shutoff valve, and then cut the other end and glue it together. So this is all, that's pipe dope Teflon tape screwed into a quarter-turn ball valve. That's a Watts full port quarter-turn ball valve. And so you won't have any trouble with that leaking. That was the original problem they were having, is this guy right here. It's just quarter-turn off and then quarter-turn on. So that's great. We did have to reconfigure the copper. What they had is a dielectric union similar to this. Right here there was a 90 that pointed straight down, and then the dielectric union, and I just showed you that over on the piping that we cut out. Actually, it's down here. This is what they had. So there's the 90, there's the dielectric union, and then it tied in and went down to iron pipe, which is sitting over there on the grass. We showed you a picture of that already. So that's gone, which is good. A little coupling, soldered it on. 90, soldered it on. And then, of course, a male adapter, soldered it on, and then screwed on the shutoff valve. So we're going to leave that open, as well as the hose bib open, because it's airing out right now. This glue is drying. We don't want to close the system up and create any pressure on the line until the glue is finally set in place. It's red hot blue glue. Sorry for the mess. We typically use clear primer. In this case, we used the purple primer. We wanted to make sure we got everything primed, but whenever you drip anything, it ends up on the pipe, and it kind of looks ugly. But it doesn't hurt anything. It just doesn't look clean. So anyway, so that's tied back in. This is the supply now. So hard water from the street comes in through this valve. 90's over, turns down, goes in the soil. Over to the building over there, you can see, I'm not going to zoom in, but there's two lines. So one goes to the softener, supplies hard water to it, and then of course after it's softened, it pipes back over and comes into this line. So we didn't touch this line. This is the existing. This is the feed from the softening equipment. This is the soft water side. So soft water side has the iron pipe to the building. It's got the dielectric unit. It's got full 1.25" copper. It's got a hose bib here, so that's soft water. That's on the one closest to the building. This is the one we worked on, the one furthest from the building. So that's hard water. So you've got hard water from the street, hard water hose bib, and then of course the loops back and forth. They did give you 1.25" copper, which is great. A lot of plumbing companies, softening companies, they come out and they just run 1 inch over there, which is, I guess, is all right. But they did run full 1.25". So we're going to leave it with them. We did our part. They're going to take over from here. They're going to crack the water on at the street. They're going to come over here and crack the water on to the house. Leave this open until you're ready to turn the water on. Then just shut that valve off. Turn it off right here. And and then when you open the street up, the water will stop right here, and then you can check for leaks in any of the piping system up to this point. And then of course, turn this real slow, because what you're going to do is you're going to be opening the water to the softening equipment. I recommend running water through here first. Put it on the hose. Put the hose on. Leave that open. As you crank it on, just let that water bleed out and flush about 10 gallons out of there, just to clean out some of the debris. Before you close this, start opening this a little bit more at a time, and a little bit more until you've got those tanks filled in there. They are in bypass right now, so you have to turn those back on. There's 2 tanks, which means 4 valves in and out. It's just a quarter turn. It's got a little tool in there, so self-explanatory. We won't be here for the testing to make sure that this is our joint. We don't want it to leak. This is our joint. We don't want that to leak. That's our joint, and then of course ball valve, screwed nipple, and then all of the glued joints. That's not our 1-inch irrigation valve, that's theirs. So we started here. That's our 1-inch coupling, 1-inch 90, 1.25" by 1T. All the Schedule 80 piping, the valves ours, adapters ours, 90s ours, couplings ours, and then the rest of the piping's yours. Same thing out there in the street, or out here in the yard. 2 90s, that's ours. Beyond that, where it dives away into the soil, that's existing pipe that goes out to the meter. So you're good from that point, which is a full, I'm thinking you're 12 to 14 feet away. That's all been replaced, so that's good. So brand new piping system up to the building right here, and then copper over to the water softening equipment and back to the home. The only problem you have now, of course, is the old iron pipe that's in place. But as long as it's working and not causing you trouble inside, just leave it and let it be. Outside of that, this installation is done.